You're chugging back to back?
What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things, and believe it or not, we're already at episode 100. A couple videos back I mentioned that it was coming up and I wasn't really sure what to do about it. A lot of people suggested that I do some type of celebration or something crazy, but I don't really think it's something to celebrate. Yes, it's definitely an accomplishment. I'm really proud of myself for being able to do this as much as I have been. I started this channel with just regular vlogs, kind of throwing shit at the wall until something actually stuck, and then I switched it. I did about 60 or so of those earlier videos, and then I realized that I wanted to make this Stuff and Things. So I made the switch to episode 1, now we're at episode 100, and it's 100 days of filming, 100 long nights of editing, and I'm pretty proud of it. Instead of celebrating by going out and getting hammered or shooting guns or the typical stuff that people suggested, I did something a little bit different. I kinda had one of those treat yourself moments.
Treat yourself.
You can now say hello to my new camera. Now, I've been thinking about doing this for a while. Currently I'm filming on a Canon T6i, just a kit lens right now. I think the quality looks pretty good. I'm using a Rode Video Micro for the audio, and altogether it's a pretty good package. So now you're probably thinking, what's the point of upgrading? Everything looks fine. What does the 80D have that the T6i doesn't? Well, let's get into that. Here's a look at the body of the camera. If you're familiar with Canon, they pretty much all look the same, but one of the main features that I personally need on cameras like this is the flip out screen. This screen is super useful for one of the main techniques of video making, which is simply framing your shot. I see so many people out there creating content and they don't know how to use a camera. The first thing that they mess up is framing the shot. If you're hand holding the camera and talking to it without having a flip out screen, you don't realize that you're too far zoomed in right now, you're crooked on an angle, that your head's way off to the side of the screen, and that you're probably out of focus. So this screen is definitely a must for me, but the T6i has a flip out screen, so what does this improve over the T6i? First, some physical features. The 80D has a headphone jack, whereas the T6i doesn't. The addition of this jack will allow me to plug in headphones and monitor my audio while I'm filming. On the top of the body, there's now an LCD screen where I can monitor things like exposure, shutter speed, aperture. Another physical thing that I might sound kind of stupid for, but this dial now has a lock, which the T6i does not. This top dial is to select your shooting mode, and on the T6i, this thing spins freely. As you can see on the 80D, it's locked until you press this button in the middle. That may seem like a dumb thing to be excited about, but I've actually missed shots before because the dial on this camera spun to something that I wasn't really looking for. Now, the build quality of this thing definitely feels better than the T6i. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, which could be viewed as a pro or a con depending on your preference. And for me, I actually like how this fits on my hand better than the T6i. The entire body is weather sealed, whereas this one is not. If you have been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I put my cameras through their paces. The 80D also has some technical specs that I prefer over the T6i. Some things like 7 shots per second, whereas this is only 5. The bigger battery of the 80D will allow it to run for a little bit longer. This camera will shoot 1080p video at 30 frames a second and 60 frames per second, whereas the T6i only shoots 60 frames per second at 720p. This does shoot 1080p at 30 frames per second, but if I want that nice, smooth slow-mo, I gotta knock it down to 720p. I actually did that last weekend when filming a Sunday Gun Day that'll be coming up in a couple weeks, and then I went to edit the footage and I really wasn't impressed with it, so that was another deciding factor to go with the 80D. My last and probably favorite thing that this does better than that is autofocus. This camera has 26 more autofocus points than the one that I'm using now, 45 on this 80D and only 19 on the T6i. Believe it or not, what that's gonna do is save me a lot of time when it comes to getting stuff into focus. The T6i does alright, but if you move around sometimes, it tends to lose focus pretty easily, whereas this will be extra snappy and hopefully I won't have as many out of focus shots. I also picked up a new lens that I've been testing out lately. This is the Canon 18-135. I've used a lens like this before for a lot of the skiing videos that we did out in California. It's definitely one of my favorite lenses for running and gunning, and I think it's gonna pair pretty nicely with the 80D. So from here on out, I'm gonna switch from the T6i to the 80D. Let's see if you notice a difference. So here we are on the 80D. How does it look? Can you even tell a difference? Probably not, to be honest. These videos will probably be looking no different to you, but I bought the camera for me because when it comes down to it, I'm kind of a perfectionist. The few extra features that this camera has where it beats the T6i, it's definitely gonna let me step up my quality a bit. You may not notice it, but I definitely will when I'm editing. The 60 frames per second that this thing can only do at 720, for example. I filmed a whole video like that last weekend, and as I was editing it, I'm just really not happy with the final result. Don't get me wrong, the content of the video is good, so I'm definitely gonna post it, And that actually makes me think of another thing. I've had a bunch of people come to me for YouTube advice and questions on gear and things like that. The main thing that I tell them that I often have to remind myself of sometimes is that it's not about the quality of your gear. Great content stems from the quality of the information that you're trying to give and the story you're trying to tell. You could be out there creating content every single day with a $50,000 Red camera setup, but if the information you're giving is garbage and your story is boring, the content's still gonna suck. So if you are a new content creator and you're looking to step up your camera game, just make sure that you're putting out good information and you're telling a good story. Alright, that's enough for YouTube advice. Why are you even listening to advice from me anyway? I've got my new setup, I'm in a new town that I haven't showed you guys yet, so I think this is the perfect time to go out, do some test shooting with the new camera, and show you guys what the new area looks like. Alright everyone, I think that was a pretty solid test for the first time out shooting with a Canon 80D. I just chopped up and edited all of that footage and I think it's looking pretty good. When I'm sitting in front of it on a really nice display, I can definitely tell the quality difference, but let me know what you guys think. I still need a little bit of time behind this thing to master it and get the picture to look exactly how I want it. The audio as well, I think the audio sounds pretty decent, but I could definitely use some tweaking. So from here moving forward from episode 100, you can expect some better quality and I'm hoping for some cooler content as well. And I'm not saying that what I've done up to this point has not been fun, because it's been a blast and I love doing it. I hope you're enjoying it as well, because there's 100 more episodes to come. If you're new to this channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every week, and also follow me on Instagram at Talon. A lot of times when I'm not able to make videos, I'll hop on Instagram live stream so I can talk to you guys. If this video helped you in your decision on buying a new camera, feel free to leave a thumbs up. And that is going to be it for today. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.